Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, lived a hare who was very fast. In fact, he was the fastest animal in the woods, and he never let anyone forget it. He loved to show off, running circles around everyone. "I am the wind. I am lightning," the hare bragged. One day, he stopped in front of an old tortoise. The hare laughed. "Look at you. You are so slow. By the time you take one step, I have already run around the world." The tortoise chewed his leaf. He swallowed. He looked up calmly. "Mr. Hare," said the tortoise, "I bet I could beat you in a race." The forest went silent. Then the hare burst out laughing. "Beat me? You? That is the best joke I have ever heard," he shrieked. But the tortoise was serious. "You are on, old shellback," said the hare. The next day, the animals gathered to watch the impossible race. The fox offered to be the referee. He marked the starting line. "The first one to touch the big oak tree wins," announced the fox. The hare did warm-up jumps. "Ready to eat my dust?" The tortoise just nodded and placed his heavy feet on the line.
On your marks, get set, go!
The hare shot off like a rocket. The tortoise moved slowly. Plod, plod, plod. Within minutes, the hare was halfway to the finish. He looked back. The tortoise was just a tiny speck.
I don't see him anywhere.
"This is too easy," yawned the hare. The sun was hot. The hare saw a nice shady tree. "I have plenty of time," he thought. "I'll take a quick nap." He lay down in the soft grass. "Just a short snooze," he mumbled. Soon, he was fast asleep. While the hare slept, time ticked by. But the tortoise kept going. He was hot and tired. His heavy shell weighed him down, but he never stopped. Eventually, he walked right past the sleeping hare. He heard the snoring, but he didn't stop. He kept his eyes on the finish line. Hours passed. The sun began to set. The hare woke up with a start. "That was a good nap," he said. He looked back. Ha! He must still be at the start.
No.
Then he looked forward.
No.
His eyes
This can't
popped
be
open
happening.
in horror. There was the tortoise, almost at the finish line. The hare ran faster than he had ever run in his life.
Stop now! Run!
It was too late. The tortoise stretched his neck and touched the big oak tree. The fox waved the flag. The winner is the tortoise! The forest animals cheered wildly. The tortoise smiled. "You are fast, my friend," he said, "but slow and steady wins the race." The hare promised never to brag again. He learned a hard lesson that day. Arrogance will slow you down, but humble persistence always wins. The end. Once upon a time, in a colorful cottage, lived Mother Goat and her 7 energetic kids. One day, Mother Goat prepared to go to the market. "Listen," she said, "do not open the door for the wolf. He is a master of disguise. You will know him by his rough voice and his black feet," she warned. Mother Goat kissed them goodbye and left for the village. But the greedy wolf was watching from the bushes.
Delicious.
He waited until she was gone, then pounded on the door. "Open up!" he roared. "It is your mother! I have candy!" The kids laughed. "You aren't Mommy. Your voice sounds like a garbage truck." The wolf grumbled and ran to the village store. He bought a giant piece of chalk and ate it to make his voice soft. Suddenly, his voice became high and squeaky. He went back and sang, "Open up, darlings, Mommy is home." But he forgot to hide his big black paws. The kids saw the black fur. "Go away, our Mommy has white paws." The wolf growled and ran to the bakery. He tricked the baker into pouring flour over his feet. Now his paws looked white as snow. He returned and showed his white paws. "Look, children, it is really me." The kids believed him and unlocked the door. The wolf jumped in. "Gotcha!" he yelled. The kids screamed and scrambled to hide. One under the table, one in the oven, one in the fridge. The youngest jumped into the grandfather clock. But the wolf took a giant breath and sucked them all up like a vacuum cleaner. Whoosh! He caught 6 of them. He was so full, he forgot to check the clock. The wolf waddled outside and fell asleep under a tree. He snored so loudly, the branches shook. Mother Goat came home. Oh, what a mess she found! Only the youngest was left. "The wolf ate everyone!" he cried. They ran to the wolf. Mother Goat could hear her children inside. She didn't use scissors. She had a funnier idea. She found a feather She tickled the wolf's nose. The wolf gasped. A giant sneeze was coming. Pop! All 6 kids flew out, safe and sound. They were safe, but Mother Goat whispered, "Quick, get some stones." The kids found the heaviest stones in the garden and the river nearby. They filled his belly with rocks while he slept. Then they hid to see what would happen. The wolf woke up. "Oh, I feel so heavy," he groaned. The stones rattled inside him. "I am so thirsty," he said. He leaned over the well to get a drink. But the stones were too heavy. He tipped over. "Help! I'm stuck! I promise I'll be good!" The wolf promised, but nothing can save him now. The wolf was stuck. The goats danced with joy. "The wolf fell in the water! The wolf fell in the water!" they sang. And they never worried about the wolf again. The 7 little goats lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a tiny cottage near the edge of the deep, dark woods, lived a poor woodcutter cat and his family. Times were hard. The fish barrel was empty, and the milk bowl had run dry. The stepmother was cruel and selfish. She did not want to share the little food they had left. She told the poor father that they must abandon the kittens in the woods or they would all starve to death. The father's heart was broken. He did not want to leave his dear kittens, but the fox gave him no choice. The kittens heard everything. Poor Gretel wept, terrified of the wolves. But Hansel was brave. He gathered shiny white pebbles from the garden and hid them in his pocket. The next morning, they marched deep into the forest. Clever Hansel dropped a shining white pebble every few steps to mark the path. They left the kittens by a fire, promising to return. But they never did. Night fell, and the forest turned cold and scary. But when the moon rose, the pebbles shone like silver coins, showing them the way home. Hand in paw, the kittens followed the trail all through the night. Their father was overjoyed to see them, but their stepmother was furious. A short time later, the famine got worse. The stepmother locked the door so Hansel couldn't gather any more pebbles. But Hansel was smart. He crumbled his only piece of bread into his pocket. As they walked into the deepest part of the woods, Hansel left a trail of breadcrumbs. When the moon rose, Hansel looked for the crumbs, but they were gone. The hungry birds of the forest had eaten every single crumb. Lost and hungry, the kittens wandered for 3 days and 3 nights. Suddenly, they saw a house built entirely of delicious treats. A roof of salmon and walls of roasted chicken. Starving, the kittens ran to the house and began to eat. But the house belonged to a wicked old witch, a blind bulldog who loved to eat kittens. She pretended to be kind, inviting them inside for warm milk. But once they were inside, the trap was sprung. She locked poor Hansel in a cage to fatten him up, and made Gretel her servant. Every morning, the blind witch asked to feel Hansel's finger to see if he was fat enough to eat. But clever Hansel held out a chicken bone instead. The witch could not understand why the kitten remained so thin. Weeks passed, and Hansel tricked her every single day. Finally, the witch lost patience. Thin or fat, she would eat him today. She ordered Gretel to climb into the oven to check the heat. Gretel knew the witch wanted to bake her too, so she pretended to be foolish. "I don't know how to get in," Gretel said. "The door is too small." "Stupid cat," barked the witch. "Look, it is plenty big enough." With a mighty kick, Gretel shoved the wicked witch right in. She slammed the iron door and locked it tight. The wicked witch was gone forever.
Meow.
Gretel freed her brother. They were saved.
Meow.
They searched the house and found the witch's hidden treasure, gold and pearls. They filled their pockets with as much treasure as they could carry. They ran until they reached a wide river, but there was no bridge to cross. A kind white swan offered to carry them across.
Hello.
Safe on the other side, the forest began to look familiar. They ran as fast as their paws could carry them until they saw their home. Their poor father had been sad and lonely every day since they left. When he saw his kittens, he wept with joy. The cruel stepmother was gone. It was just the three of them again. They were never poor again, and they lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a small, cramped cottage, lived a mother pig and her 3 grown sons. One morning, Mother Pig went to cook breakfast, but the cupboard was bare.
Snoring.
The house was bursting at the seams. Her sons had grown too big for their little home. "My darlings," she said, "it is time for you to go out into the world and build houses of your own." So the 3 brothers packed their bags and set off to find their fortune. They found a sunny meadow perfect for building. The first pig, Barnaby, was lazy. He wanted to finish quickly so he could nap. He built a house of straw in just 1 hour, then went to sleep.
Ouch!
The second pig, Baxter, was impatient. He gathered sticks and nailed them together wildly. It was a bit stronger than straw, but full of holes. Still, he was done by lunch. But Benjamin was an engineer. He wanted a house that was safe and strong. He worked for 3 whole days, building a solid fortress of red bricks. A week later, a mysterious car pulled up to the meadow. It was Mr. Wolf, the neighborhood building safety inspector. He was there to perform a routine safety inspection. He approached the straw house. "Excuse me," he called. "Department of Safety." Barnaby saw the wolf and panicked. "Go away! You can't come in!" he squealed. "Sir," said the wolf, "this house is a fire hazard. I must perform a wind stress test." The wolf took a deep breath to test the walls. The house failed immediately. "Unsafe," muttered the wolf. Barnaby screamed and ran to his brother's house. Barnaby burst into the stick house. "The wolf blew my house down!" he cried. Baxter laughed. "My house is made of wood. It's strong." But outside, the wolf found loose nails. "This framing is not up to code," shouted the wolf. "Initiating level 2 wind test." The stick house crashed to the ground. "Structurally unsound," noted the wolf. The 2 brothers scrambled out and ran for their lives. They pounded on Benjamin's door. He let them in and locked the heavy bolt. "Calm down," said Benjamin. "I followed the blueprints. We are safe." Mr. Wolf inspected the brickwork. He thought. "Solid foundation. Impressive."
Now for the ultimate test.
"But I must be sure," said the wolf. "Time for the maximum hurricane simulation." He huffed and puffed until he was blue in the face, but the house didn't budge. "Congratulations," the wolf said. "This house passes inspection." The pigs were confused. You aren't going to eat us?" asked Barnaby. "Eat you? Good heavens, no! I am a vegetarian. I'm just here to check for safety hazards." The pigs realized the wolf had actually saved them from living in dangerous houses. "We are sorry. Would you like to stay for vegetable soup?" The wolf stayed for dinner, and they became fast friends. The next day, Mr. Wolf returned to help them rebuild properly. Barnaby and Baxter learned how to build safe, strong walls. Together, they built a beautiful home, big enough for all of them. And so, the 3 little pigs and their safety inspector lived safely ever after.